Set within a semi-tropical rainforest valley, surrounded by volcanic peaks, powered by Red Arc. Welcome to Camper Trailer of the Year 2020. Many campers say they're family focused, but few can say this with more conviction than the Swag X13 Explorer. Inside, there's a king-size bed with two proper 184 centimetre or 6 foot children's bunks, ideally positioned above mum and dad. Outside, there's this enormous 4.5 metre awning enclosing a fully spec'd out kitchen and outdoor living space. It's a true remote area, moving home away from home. The Swag X13 Explorer packs some serious off-grid remote living chops. With 300 watts of solar on the roof, 300 amp hours in the battery bay and 200 litres of water storage, you'll be able to take your whole family to any part of Australia in safety and comfort. Let's hear what the judges had to say. The Swag X13 Explorer struck me as being a proper family-focused camper, Scott. Did the Swag impress you with its family focus?
Family focus, I think, is an understatement on this one. What you've really got here is a camper, which is essentially a hostel on wheels. You've got a king-size bed that expands out of the rear of it. At the foot of the king bed, you've got a space for a child on their +1. Above the king bed, you've got 2 bunks for 2 more. If you want to drop the dine-out table, you've got another child's bed. And what wasn't shown in the version that we're looking at is they have another bunk bed above that if you wish. Now that's room for 7. If you want to talk about families, you can take the whole family away with this one. But with that, everything else is outside, because essentially it's a bunk bed on wheels.
That's the thing, isn't it? But if you picture in your mind there are 7 people in that camper, there's going to have to be some luggage somewhere. So in actual fact, I mean, one of the functionalities that you might have is a fewer number of people and using some of those bunk beds to actually store some of that luggage when you actually stop. One thing that it had was that it had about a 4.5 metre by 2.7 metre awning out the front, so there is some useful living space out there.
Look, it's got 300 watts of solar on the roof, which in a day like today or the week we've had is enough to charge the 300 amp hour batteries and keep the fridges cool and keep all the lights on, probably for at least a couple of weeks. The cool things about it is 2 85 litre water tanks plus a separate 30 litre water tank as well. So if you're out and about and you're topping up from places where you're not sure about the water, you can just pick the tank, which is nice. I'm a big fan of that. So yeah, look, I do think if you were doing a tour of the country, it gives you the chance to go a bit more remote than you might be able to at a lot of other campers.
The camper was well equipped as a trimmer, hot water system, 75 litre fridge freezer was included with the deal. I mean, this camper's, what, 40,600 as we saw it. Seems to be a price point there at about 40,000. There's a few on the market, very similar at about that point.
Very similar in price, but no one's got 7 beds.
No, it's not. I agree with that. And included in that price was an air conditioner. 2 years ago, a camper with an air conditioner? Wow, this would be headline.
And that pop-up hybrid sort of functionality and the awning that just went straight out, I mean, how long did it take to set this whole thing up?
Like if you were just roadside stopping for a night, you could have that thing ready to go, comfortable, kitchen out, and less time than it would take to actually boil your noodles. If you wanted to chuck the awning out, add a bit of time there, but still quite a quick setup. Climbing under the camper was pretty robust. So 150mm by 50mm by 4mm chassis. And then the frame is an aluminium frame of about 30 by 30mm. And then an aluminium cladding with a polyurethane insulation, so it shouldn't be too bad in the heat. So fairly well constructed. And interestingly, the guys told us that all the steel used is 345 Australian standard.
They do a lot of fit out here. Munro shock absorbers, re-grease all the bearings, the arc jockey wheel, Australian gas fitting and some electrical work there. Fiamma awning, which is a good brand. So there's a lot of local input going into ensuring these campers are as good as they can make them.
It's also those little things. So not only are they replacing some of the generic components with some quality components, but you're looking at things like checker plate along the side. It's not just an ordinary checker plate, you've got sound deadening on there. So they're thinking that one little extra on top of that.
Okay, there we have it, the Swag X13 Explorer. Light up the whole family and lose yourself somewhere beautifully remote.